Hey guys, here we are at New York Comic Con, and Roth Cornett was just in the Walking Dead panel. So what did we see at Walking Dead?
You know, it's so interesting because with The Walking Dead, the biggest takeaway that I always get is just how huge the show is. It's overwhelming to be in that room.
Oh, yeah.
So typically what they do at the panel is a lot of celebratory sort of talk with the fans, which I think is appropriate. That's what it's there for. And then they're teased just a little bit here and there about the upcoming season. So I think the biggest takeaway for me on that was that Kirkman has sort of talked about this before and reconfirmed that this season, he says, is going to stick closer to the comics than any previous season.
Interesting.
Which is interesting in the sense that they're going to have to kind of they're going to have to retrofit a few things with characters to get them back on a track that would be in sync entirely with the comic. I mean, they're pretty set up to follow the comic at this point. But yeah, that was sort of one of the big takeaways. They also hinted at a lot of death to come.
On The Walking Dead, who would have thought? Death?
Who would have thunk it?
Who was on the... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Who was on the panel?
So we had...
Dixon? Was he there?
Of course he was.
Okay. What kind of cheers did he get?
Many cheers.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, of course we had sort of the array of producers. We had Gail Ann Hurd, Greg Nicotero, who does the special makeup effects and directs, and he's one of the producers. Scott Gimple, who's the showrunner. And, of course, Robert Kirkman was there. Cast-wise, it's basically they bring in the main cast. So it's like, although Carl wasn't there, notably. So it's...
He had homework.
He had homework to do. So it's Rick, Michonne, you've got Glenn, you've got Maggie. Beth also notably was not there. You've got Carol, Tyrese, Sasha, and of course, Daryl.
It's a big group, right?
It's a big group of people, and a lot of it really does end up being just about looking back at the season that's just passed and saying, where are you at right now? Well, we know where they're at, and they're in a lot of trouble. The premiere, they showed the very first opening couple of minutes of the premiere, which I will tell you about now. But
Tell us.
But if you don't want to know, then skip ahead.
Is it spoiled?
A little bit.
You know what?
It's a little bit spoilery. It's a little bit spoiler. I was shocked that they showed it, and I saw people filming it, and there was no one stopping them. It was madness. So I assume it's online, and you can see it if you want to. However, I'll tell you anyway.
Okay.
So they're in exactly where you left them off. I think they wanted to pick up with a galvanizing pace, you know, and just sort of keep going. And they're in that car, you know, they're kind of like gearing up for a battle. They're getting themselves armed with whatever they can find. And you think, oh man, this door is going to open. It's going to be a brawl. But no, because the people at Terminus are too smart for that. So they throw in a gas bomb, knock some people out, drag them out. Rick gets dragged. Are you sure you want to know? This is going to kind of give things away. So Rick gets dragged. He does not get eaten, you crazy person. They're not killing Rick.
Okay.
So they drag him into another room. And they do, though, you can see them slicing up bodies. And they drag him over. It looks kind of like a trough. And they have a bat and a knife. So you can imagine what that's for. And the last thing that you see is they take a bat to the first guy's head. Boom. Cut to black. So that's the opening sequence,
all right.
which you, again, probably could just see online.
So we now know that they are cannibals, which, of course, we knew anyway.
We can extrapolate that these are the hunters, yes. But I think that there will be more revealed about how and why and all those things in the premiere episode.
Okay. Well, awesome.
They have promised a brutal, unrelenting, bloody season where all of the characters are sort of on the same page, where Rick has really, you know, Andrew Lincoln said, like, he was sick of being a farmer. He was over that storyline. And Rick has really kind of got his mojo back in this one.
Okay.
And he said he wished to some degree that he had kept Shane alive, because now he thinks he was on to something. So that'll tell you a little bit about where his head's at.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, excellent. Sounds very cool. Walking Dead is premiering very soon, right?
Yeah, it's premiering Sunday at 9 o'clock on AMC. I will have a lot more in my written write-up of the panel about sort of the odds and ends and character tidbits. Right. But that's a good overview of where things are heading. It's not pretty.
All right, so look for Roth's panel write-up, and, of course, for our Walking Dead review as well this weekend. And keep it locked to IGN for all the death and mayhem from Walking Dead.